Welcome to my class. Today we will discuss evolution of Indian administration. So for any future betterment, we need past records or past history. In the same way, Indian administration also, if you want to improve, if you want to provide good administration to all the people, we must read, we must observe, we must learn the lessons from previous administration. So, regarding union administration, we must read evolution of Indian administration. In this Indian evolution of Indian administration, if you take the administrative system of a country plays an important role in formulation of policies. So any administrative system of any country will play key role regarding formulation of policies or decisions and carrying out the ancient objectives of the political system, and it will continue and it will carry the from past records ancient objectives. The present grows out of the past. So whatever the present is growing, it depends upon the past, and the future takes its shape on the present. So whatever the present we are doing, we are implementing different policies, it will affect the future. In this way, a study of the evolution of the Indian administration assumes much significance. So we have to search, we have to read the entire evolution of Indian administrations. So our Indian administration divided into ancient and medieval and modern. So in ancient period, we may read about these Mauryan administration and Gupta administration, and the medieval period we will discuss about Mughal administration, and modern period we'll discuss about British administration. So we will start with the Mauryan administration. So before going to start the Mauryan administration, we will look at the pictures of Mauryan Empire. So this is these source Mauryan Empire. So a majority party, majority area of the India occupied by the great Mauryans. So if you see this photo, Chandragupta Maurya is the founder of the Mauryan Empire. So he started the great Mauryan Empire. So if you see in this slide, there is two photos are there. The great Ashoka, the great, so he ruled 268 to 232 BC. So in that BC years are diminishing, not in increasing level. It should be descending order only, not ascending order. So 268 to 232, so means nearly 36 years he ruled. So he born at Patliputra and died at Patliputra, same location. So his parents are Bindushara and Subhadrangi. So those are the parents of the great Ashoka the Great. So if you see right side of this Ashoka is Chanakya, is none other than the great Kautilya, who wrote Ardhasastra regarding Mauryan administration. So if you see the administration of Maurya, for example, military administrations like this army or major divisions like infantry and cavalry and chariots and elephants with 9,000. This is about the outline of Mauryan administration. So this is the Ellora caves, which was developed by the great Mauryans. So if you take the administration, king is there. So below him, Mantri Parshad is there. and below that district administration or Nagarika is there, below that village administration also there. So this is the outline in pictures regarding this Mauryan administrations. So if we uh, discuss in detail, so the Mauryan administration, there are several sources of historical evidence pertaining to Mauryan administration. For example, Jataka stories of Buddhists, the great Kautilyas or Chanakyas, Arthashastra, and Megasthenes, Indica, and so Chandragupta Maurya, Bimbisara, Asoka, these are the great rulers of this Mauryan administration. So if you discuss about Mauryan administration, we should compulsory will look at the Arthashastra of the great Chanakyas. So according to historians, the Arthashastra was originally written by Kautilya. Arthashastra provides full details on the administration, society, and economy. According to Kautilya, the state consists of 7 organs, that is called Saptanga theory of state. So any state want to treat it as a state, it must have these features like king, minister, territory, fortifications, financial strength, military power, and friends. So what we call king. So king has sovereign power. So he is the whole and soul. Next to below him, ministers or council ministers are there. They are treated as a amatyas. For example, for each and every state or any kingdom, we need a land that is called Janapada, including the people. Next to Durga, so that time, so Durgas are there. So each and every state have separate Durga to protect that king and all the people of that state. Next, the most important thing for any country, whether it is olden countries, olden kingdoms or present countries, money or treasury. So that time also Kosagaram is there. So for financial strength, they collected the different taxes. Or for protection of that state, military power is there. They use this term as danda, and each and every as per the great Aristotle said that man is a social animal. So at the same time, a country can't live with single. So country also need friends with the neighbor countries. So we need friends. A country cannot run, cannot survive with a single. So friends we need. So, according to Kautilya, in the happiness of his subjects lies his happiness, in their welfare is welfare. So, if any king or any ruler of country, so his happiness depends upon his followers and people. So, if you take a king at the time, what are the his features? Are king were powerful, is more extensive. He was the supreme commander of military, is the highest dispenser of justice, is the supreme lawgiver. And if you take Mantri Parshad, the Kautilya specifically mentioned in Arthashastra about administration cannot be work of one man. If you take like this, just as one wheel cannot drive a car. If you take one car, we have 4 wheels. So with only one wheel, it cannot move. So with the help of all the 3 cars means with the help of one car is if the king, other 3 cars are accounts are ministers. So those 3 wheels will assist this first wheel. So it means here, so all the council ministers will cooperate the king in administrations. Kautilya described the procedure of deciding the state matters in the Mantri Parishad. He then only in before Christ at the Mauryan administration only in Arthashastra, he said that even any king, he must be take the decisions regarding their welfare of the people of that country in the Mantri Parishad only. So nowadays also we are following same things regarding that things. This is about Mantri Parishad. So if you take administration there followed a hierarchy in bureaucracy. For example, in Arthashastra, he the Kautilya said that there are highest officers, 18 tirthas are there. And if you take Mantri Parishad, all the ministers regarding their portfolios, for example, Chief Minister, Mantri, Purohita, head priest, Yuvaraja means prince, Senapati means commander-in-chief. These are the other highest officers regarding that. Another important class of officials were Adhyakshas, like superintendents for different departments. So for Emperor Ashoka created post of Dharma Mahamatras. So Dharma Mahamatras, they developed at the time of Ashoka. So they provided all the people about justice for regarding their welfare and regarding their disputes. At the time of Mauryan administration, they collected Bhaga tax 1/6 of the produce of the soil. So sometimes they uh, uh, implemented fines like that. So this is the about the administration at Mauryan period. So if you take a provincial administration, so that kingdom divided into provinces like Kausambi, Taxila, Suvarnagiri. If you take now, we have India and states, duties, union territories like that. That time also that Mauryan administrators, they divided it into states like provinces. Each province functioned under the direction of governor or viceroy. Rajuka was an important and highest official appointed by the crown. Rajuka was an so important person. So Rajuka look after the people as children under their guardianship. So they look after all the people like children. The type of taking care will be happen at the time of provincial administration at Mauryan. So some officials called Purushas who are emperor's personal representative. So they also always used to have contact with the emperor. So the provinces are subdivided into districts called like Ahara, Vishaya, like that. That is about towns and district administration. So if you take, we are treated at the Mauryan period, and these cities as Nagarika and superintendent called Nagara and Nagarika is a superintendent for that district. Again, districts that Nagara divided into again administrative function is Gramani. Gramani is the Grama Vriddhas are main village administrative officers. Gramani is the village that time. So so group of village also they're called like Gopas and Ethanikas, though they are also participated in administrations. So if you take Patliputra, the administrative capital city of that Mauryan, now called Patna, was carried by and represented by town council at that time. So now we have in Patna town council. At that time, Mauryan also they maintained town councils. So if you take the these town councils function, and they maintained with 6 committees. Those are, if you take here, industrial arts, they will look after industrial things. The entertainment of foreigners, they will look after entertainment for all the foreigners who came to our Indian kingdom. Registration of births and deaths, all the peoples they maintain this committee, registration of births and deaths of all the people. If you take another committee, trade and commerce, another committee, supervision and the sale of manufactured articles, and last and final committee look after about collecting tithas and sales. So this is about our Mauryan administration. In ancient period, we will discuss next one is Gupta administrations. So this is the Gupta administration. They ruled this place only for Guptas. So they didn't rule like Mauryan kingdom. So if you take the Gupta's founder is we are watching in this picture. Sri Gupta I is the founder of Gupta dynasty. So if you take this one, Samudragupta is the important king who extended Gupta's kingdom. If you take all the Gupta kings like Chandragupta I, Samudragupta and Chandragupta II is treated as Vikramaditya, and Kumaragupta, Skandagupta. So these are the rulers in our Gupta's administration. If you take in picture, if you take the system of administration at Gupta period, Gupta kings adopted pompous titles such as they adopted this type of titles. Parameswara, so nothing but they are treated as a Parameshwara. So Maharaja Diraja, Parama Bhattaraka. So they are like kings for entire kingdom. So they uh, called like this. So they followed the kingship was hereditary. They followed the hereditary system only. Absence of firm practice of primogeniture. So they followed the imperial administration and feudatories, beneficiaries, not many officials, they maintained only few officials only. So so many artisans, merchants also in their administration. So the complete political system depend upon feudal only. So all the feudal persons are completely, they look after everything. That is the pictures we discussed about Gupta's administration. If you take in detail Gupta's administration, so after Mauryan Empire, Gupta Empire is considered a significance and one in the ancient period. So Guptas were ruled nearly 300 AD to 550 AD. So nearly 2.5 centuries approximately, and this period is considered as the golden age in Indian history. So if you take Samudragupta, considered as the most prominent Gupta emperor in their period. So if you take Gupta's administration's role of the king, so kings normally held all the levels of power and handles which worked the governmental machinery. So he make the laws and he will implement the laws. He is the responsible for everything, and he will always defend the country from external attack or aggression. So he administered with justice and played the dominant role in formulation of all the policies regarding their country. The king was the main important person about in administration. So the highest ministers, army commanders, principal officers were appointed by the king only. The eldest son of the king was Yuvaraja, and the principal officers were generally from the royal families. Hence, administration can said to be characterized by hereditary values. They completely follow the hereditary values. If you take the central administration of Guptas, so in the Gupta period, they implemented Mantrin, confidential advisor, Sandhi Vigarika, minister in charge of peace and war, and Aksha Pataladi Krita, Minister of Charge of Records, accounts of ministers called Mantri Parshad. So this Guptas also, they maintained one Mantri Parishad, which is now called Council of Ministers. So the chief ministers was called as the Mantri Mukhya. So R.C. Majumdar, he said that Mantri Parshad, like the one that existed during the Mauryan rule, there was also Purohita, Rajaguru, also there at this Gupta's period. Ministers used to advise the king about the prevailing popular opinion regarding the administrations. They also used to be a sabha for discussing regarding so many things of their role. So this is about central administration about Gupta's period. If you take provincial administration, or so if you take Gupta's empire divided into uh, Bhukti, Desa, Rashtra, and Mandals were the administrative subdivisions. So Bhukti usually meant a province or an administrative division under any officer called Uparika. Next, Bhukti was usually divided into Visayas or Mandalas. Officer in charge for Visaya, so called Kumaramadhya, is by hereditary Maharaja. He had the authority like the of Amatya during the Mauryan rule. The administration of cities like Ayodhya and Ujjaini was carried by the city councils. So the great Ayodhya and Ujjaini cities, they maintained city councils regarding development of that local government. So again that provincial in provincial administration, that provinces divided into districts or cities like Nagarika or Nagarapati. So if there are that is Uparika is a governor. So governor will appoint this Nagarika or Nagarapati. So next to the village, next to the cities divided into villages, the village headman was the head of the village. Village assembly consists of all adult populations. So if you take a present like Rama Sabha, so that time only they discussed the local people regarding local development. So this assembly appointed committees to look after specific departments like tanks and temples. They look after about tanks, about their local area, and they will supervise about temples also. So the Gupta Empire had its efficient military and police organizations through land revenue was the main sources of revenue. So 1/6 of the produce they collected as a tax. They implemented import duties like mines and mines tax like that. So those are the about the Mauryan administration. So that is the Gupta's administrations regarding all the things. So if you see in this ancient the evolution of Indian administration, we discussed ancient period only. In the ancient period, we discussed about Mauryan administration and Gupta administration. So, and majority times the Mauryan administration they may ask in so many times in so many exams. So, my dear students, so you may read these things regarding all the things about the uh, modern this evolution of Indian administration.